Hello students, we are discussing a chapter called Microbes in Human Welfare. It means how the microbes are useful to human beings in their daily life. In the previous classes we studied the how the microbes are useful in household products, in industrial products, in sewage water treatment process. So now in this class we are going to study the biogas production, biopesticides and biofertilizers. First one. So, how the microbes are useful in biogas production? Biogas. Biogas is defined as the mixture of gases containing predominantly methane produced by microbial activity and is used as fuel. In other words, the biogas is defined as it is a methane rich fuel gas produced by anaerobic breakdown of cattle dung by methanogenic bacteria called methanobacterium. So, methanogenic bacteria, it is a group of methanobacteria. These bacteria able to present in the cattle's rumen of the cattle's. Rumen means a parts of stomach. A such bacteria, methanogenic bacteria, able to break down the cellulosic material of the food in the stomach. The biogas is commonly called as gobar gas. Gobar gas. The biogas composition is 50 to 60% of methane, 30 to 40% of carbon dioxide, a small amount of hydrogen sulfide and nitrogen as well as hydrogen. Hydrogen. Okay. Then apart from the composition of biogas, which are the microbes are helpful for the biogas production? Nothing but methanogenic bacteria. Methanogen bacterium. How the biogas plant able to produce this methane? How the biogas perform their process? First, the step is the biogas is produced by biogas plant. This is the biogas plant. These are commonly set up in the villages where the farmers rear the cattle, where the cattle's dung available is more. Then the biogas plant consists 10 to 15 feet deep concrete tank called digester tank. This has oxygen free atmosphere. Then the digester tank is covered by an inverted floating drum. Then the digester tank is provided with inlet and outlet connections. Inlet and outlet connections. Then the mixture of cow dung and water in the ratio 1:1 is fed into the digester tank through the inlet. The mixture of cow dung and water in the ratio 1:1 is called as slurry. So here this is the inlet, this is the inlet, here the cow dung and water, these two introduced in 1:1 ratio. This is the digester tank. In the digester tank, the slurry, nothing but the cow dung as well as water in the ratio 1:1 is digested by methanobacterium anaerobically without oxygen. Then the production of biogas is occur. As the production of biogas is increased, the floating drum keeps on rising. So inside that a digester tank, the floating drum is there. So how the methanogenic bacteria produces or releases the biogas by breakdown of the cow dung and water. So like that, the floating drum able to rise up. The floating drum has an outlet. The floating drum has an outlet to which a pipe is connected to the supply the biogas to the houses. Nearby houses. So in this way, the biogas plant is performed to work. Okay. Once again, once again, the first step is, because this is very important topic, it may ask for 5 marks or 3 marks for only for diagram. The biogas plant is set up in the villages where the farmers rear the cattle. Then the biogas plant consists 10 to 15 feet deep concrete tank called digester tank. This digester tank is oxygen free atmospheric tank. Then the digester tank is covered by floating drum. The digester tank having two outlets. One is two outlet. One is the inlet, another is the outlet. Then in the inlet, we passes a cattle dung and water in 1:1 ratio. This is called as a slurry enter into the digester tank. In the digester tank, in absence of oxygen, the methanogenic bacteria able to break down the cattle dung produces the biogas. How the biogas is produces? The floating drum able to raises up. The floating drum having a one outlet connection. This connection is connected to the nearer houses. Then after the production of biogas, the content which remains, such content is entered into the one tank called as a sludge tank. So in that sludge tank, what happens? What the content is remains after the production of biogas, that content is used as a manure. Sorry, it is used as a fertilizer. In the biogas production, the two advantages are there. One is the biogas, a gas is produces. Second is a formation of a fertilizer. Then, when come to the advantages of biogas, it is a storable form of energy. This biogas is a fuel, methane-rich fuel, which is used for heating and cooking as well as lighting as well as power. Okay, then the content remains after the production of biogas. That content is used as a manure or fertilizer. The biogas is an eco-friendly gas, non-polluting gas. It is a storable form of energy. Okay, this is about a biogas production. When we are move on to the next one, microbes useful in biocontrol agents. Biocontrol agent means a number of microbes are used as agent for controlling the plant diseases and pests in order to reduce the use of chemical pesticides and insecticides, which are harmful to humans, animals and plants. Such controlling agents are called as a biocontrol agents. Then which are the microbes or act as a biocontrol agent to control the diseases or pests, etc. The first one is baculoviruses. The baculovirus, these are the species specific and used to control the insects. These are the baculoviruses attack the insects and other arthropods. The majority of baculoviruses are used as a biocontrol agents in the genus Nucleopolyhedrovirus. NPV, Nucleopolyhedrovirus. The baculoviruses are excellent candidates for the species-specific narrow spectrum insecticidal application. The baculoviruses are able to kill specific type of pathogen, specific type of a germ. They have no negative impact on plants. There is no any negative effect, side effects on plants or mammals or birds or fishes, etc. This is very useful in integrated pest management program. IPM, integrated pest management program. Okay, the government established a one program, integrated pest management program. So in the integrated pest management program, the baculoviruses are specifically kill the specific type of pathogen. So it is majorly useful. Okay, so the nucleopolyhydroxyvirus is one of the major baculovirus able to act as a narrow spectrum insecticide application. Then next one is the Bacillothuringiensis. Bacillothuringiensis. The Bacillothuringiensis, it is a bacteria. This bacteria contains one toxic chemical called as a thurioside. This bacteria releases a toxic chemical called as a thurioside. Such thurioside able to control the butterfly caterpillar larvae, okay, and also able to kill the other insects like moths, mosquitoes, flies, aphids, etc., etc. Then then next one is the a trichoderma. It is a free living fungus used to control several plant pathogens, especially like soil borne. It able to control the soil borne diseases like root rot, rhizome rot, stem rot, etc. Then ladybird and dragonflies. The ladybird and dragonflies, these are the insects able to get rid of the aphids and mosquitoes respectively. Lastly, Metarhizium. Metarhizium. It is a fungus used to kill the rhinoceros beetles that destroy the coconut and sugarcane plants. So the biocontrol agents, these biocontrol agents are non-polluting. So in the crop plant, we are going to control the pest, disease causing pest or other insects. We apply some chemicals, medicines as a medicines. Those chemicals kill the pest, but those chemicals able to make the soil pollution, and also those chemicals kill the soil dependent some animals. In that condition, when we use, instead of such a chemicals, we use the biocontrol agents. These biocontrol agents are kill the pathogen, pest, okay, and also it does not able to pollute any soil, okay, any soil. So that when we are using the biocontrol agents, one is we kill the a pest, disease causing pest, insects, and also we are prevent the soil pollution. So this is about the a biocontrol agents. The a man-made pest and insect controlling chemicals like insecticides and pesticides. Insecticides means the chemical which kill the insects. Pesticide means the chemical which kill the pest. Pest nothing but the PEST, pest nothing but the rodents or maybe other animals. Okay. Then next is how the microbes are useful in biofertilizers. Biofertilizers. First one, what is meant by biofertilizers? The organisms which enrich the nutrient quality of soil are called biofertilizers. Or the biofertilizers are the organisms that enrich the nutrient quality of the soil. The main biofertilizers are bacteria, cyanobacteria, fungi, etc. The bacteria and cyanobacteria majorly fix the atmospheric nitrogen, while the fungi helps in mineral uptake of plants. Let us study one by one. First is symbiotic rhizobium bacteria. Symbiotic rhizobium bacteria. The rhizobium bacteria, it is a symbiosis. Symbiosis means the association of two organisms to lead a life without harm with each other. The rhizobium able to lead a life in association of roots of the leguminous plants. Roots of the leguminous plants. When the rhizobium bacteria is lodged in the roots of the leguminous plant, the roots are become nodules, become tumor-like. This rhizobium bacteria fix the atmospheric nitrogen, convert it into nitrate and provide to the leguminous plants. The leguminous plants get the nitrate as a energy nutrient from the rhizobium. Okay, next is the free living bacteria is there. The free living bacteria are like Azotobacter, Azospirillum, Clostridium, Bacillus, Polymyxia. These are the free living bacteria which are also able to freely, without depend upon other plants, they are able to freely convert the atmospheric nitrogen into nitrate and provide to the soil. Then next, cyanobacteria, nothing but the blue green algae. In that the cyanobacteria, in that the symbiotic bacteria are there, free living bacteria are there. The free living bacteria, cyanobacteria, the number of free living cyanobacteria like Anabaena, Nostoc, okay, these are able to fix the atmospheric nitrogen, especially in the paddy fields, okay, and serve as an important biofertilizers as well as increase the soil fertility. The symbiotic cyanobacteria are there. The symbiotic cyanobacteria like Anabaena azolle, okay, Anabaena azolle, Azospirillum, Anabaena azolle, Azospirillum, Azotobacter are the free living bacteria, cyanobacteria. Then Anabaena azolle is a symbiotic cyanobacteria able to fix the atmospheric nitrogen, especially into the paddy fields. Next, mycorrhiza symbiotic fungi. Mycorrhiza symbiotic fungi. The mycorrhiza is a symbiotic association of certain fungi and roots of higher plants. The members of the genus Glomus form the mycorrhiza. These symbiotic fungi absorb the nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium and passes them into the plant. It increases the salinity and dryness. Increases the salinity and also nothing but the dryness. So this is about the biofertilizers. Here the three categories are there: bacteria, cyanobacteria and mycorrhiza. Bacteria, in that the free living and symbiotic. Cyanobacteria, the free living cyanobacteria are Anabaena and Nostoc. Anabaena and Nostoc. Then the symbiotic cyanobacteria are nothing but a azospirillum, sorry, Anabina azolle. Okay, these are the a biofertilizers. In this chapter is complete. Okay, in this chapter the main concept is biofertilizers, biopesticides, biogas production, sewage water treatment process, then industrial products, household products. Okay, thank you.